Do you have any tutorials on the perfect way to build a site using Sir Links-a-Lot, niche editors, guest posts, frequency, etc.? Um,
Chris put out a little
we,
case study that I think outlines
yeah, but it's not.
an older site coming in.
He basically wants like a blueprint, right?
Yeah.
A blueprint for using our services to start a site from square one and where to go from there with what types of links at what time. Um,
We've talked
it's a pretty big
about it a
question.
lot, really. Too.
I
It's
feel
more
like,
so like putting multiple videos together to explain, where you'd be at with a beginner site, right? Because we got lots of videos on what to do as far as a new site goes,
mhm.
and then kind of how to evolve out of, you start off, you're building a site with good content based around solid keyword research, right? Because that's the foundation of everything. And then for backlinking, you start off pillowing, right? So natural anchors, typically to the home page mainly, um, nothing too fancy. And you can sprinkle in, guest posts, niche edits, links like that, editorial style links right out of the gate if you want to. Or you can wait for pillow links to kind of resonate and then get a little bit more aggressive. But yeah, typically it all has to do with what Google is saying your site's doing. So using a tool like Ahrefs, you'll be able to see the different levels as you start with a new site from scratch. It resonates in the search maybe a little bit. And this is hypothetical. It's not how I'm going to build a site. Like, I'm going to be far more aggressive. But if you want to figure out how all this kind of like works, you'll go a bit slower. You'll let the content resonate, see how that does, and then you'll slowly add pillow links, and then you'll get into more advanced link building with higher end, more editorial style links. But that's like a really mm, rough outline.
I'm gonna try to give a rough outline as well.
All right.
All right, so we're gonna pretend you're starting on a fresh site, right? You
Mm-hmm.
got your nice, pretty fresh site. Start building content, right? You're doing your keyword research, you're adding content to the website, and you're gonna want to go ahead and grab like your main social profile, stuff like Facebook, maybe Instagram, a YouTube channel. Get all your normal stuff set up, as well as maybe some like the big citation type things. Um, and yeah, and so then you basically got this thing where you've got your basically what a company would do in the very beginning. They've got their basic site set up with some content. They're kind of just getting started on it. Maybe it's got 20 pages at this point, and they've got their main social network stuff kind of set up. Their Facebook and whatnot. And then yeah, start building links. So in the very beginning, you're going to be focusing only on your home page. Don't worry about any of your inner pages for now. You can start with stuff like our pillow link packs, our diversity link packs, our citation packs, our social signals packs. These are all things that you can find on our website that you can just send direct to your homepage, and we kind of think of these as they're all kind of types of like pillow links in a way. It's just very natural white hat stuff that um, is very normal for sites to get, especially in the beginning. And basically, you just can't hurt yourself with them, right? You're just kind of like laying this foundation of link building to come. Because when a business is new, that they go out and they create these types of links in the beginning before links from other websites, from people that aren't them, basically start coming in. And so you add some pillow links, and even in month one. So this is like month one I'm talking about of your link building. In month one for link building, you could even start right away with some like guest posts and niche edits. But again, you want to send them only to your homepage and only with natural anchors, branded anchors, URL anchors, generic anchors, just to your homepage for now. And you're probably not going to want to send that many. You might be talking about a handful. You might be doing like 5 the first month or something. You're just not really talking about a lot. I'm talking about a fresh site, by the way. It's not an expired domain or a age domain or whatever. Um, and so yeah, and so after month one, let's say you did a bunch of the pillow links, diversity links, whatever, and now you're starting to add, some niche edits or guest posts to the homepage. It's going to take some time for, if it's a completely fresh site, it's going to really take some time for it to start like popping into some rankings. Um, and that's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles, right? And our advice with this is maybe you want to add some more pillow style links. But for the most part, I would just slowly be adding stuff like niche edits and guest posts to your homepage with natural anchors. It's URL branded generic. Um, yeah, just to your homepage, and not very much, right? You might only be talking like 5 or 10 links for your second month or whatever. And this all at the same time, it really all depends on like how aggressive you want to be and how much of this you're going to be able to sustain over time, right? You don't want to just like front load with like a ton of links and then you kind of like fall in it. And then what you see in a lot of cases is they go, oh, it's not working because they're kind of like in this quote like sandbox period or whatever, and they've spent way too much and it's not really getting the super momentum they thought it was going to get right off the bat, and then they kind of fizzle out or think it's not working or something. But just know it can kind of take some time to roll in the beginning and just keep moving forward slowly, right? So month two, maybe you do some more pillow style links, but by month two, you did a bunch of pillow linking the first month. You might do a little more pillowing, but just focus more on the guest posts and niche edits. Still not doing a ton. Still going to your homepage. And importantly as well, keep adding content, right? Keep working on your website. Keep building the site out. Like links are awesome. Links are great, but you need content. Content is a super powerful thing. And the more content you have, the more supporting content you go after, the more quality content you have on your site that's actually targeting search terms, and you're practicing good interlinking and all that stuff. It really goes a long way. So don't think you can just have some crappy site and start hammering links at it. I mean, you can, and it can work, but I think you just get a lot more out of your money if you're building a lot of content at the same time. And so what you're doing now is, I would say, in the period of the first like 1 to maybe even like 6 months, it just depends how heavily you're building and stuff like that. And just sometimes kind of like luck of the draw, just how quickly the site really catches on, and what's the competition, the niche like. I guess it's not really luck of the draw. If you're adding a lot of quality content and you're adding quality links slowly to your homepage over time, your site should really start picking up. By what month would you say things start really, it starts to pick you up and rank you for keywords, Nick?
I mean, it's hard to say. It's going to
Yeah.
depend on, niche
Yeah, I
and
don't want to say it's
how
luck of the
competitive,
draw, but it
etc.
kind of
But
is in a way. Like sometimes they just move fast, sometimes they don't.
my my timeline for a project though, and I mean, like,
Well, I'm just,
because we're talking about
yeah, just
beginner
until it
stuff,
starts like
right?
kind of like really gathering
If
some
you're really
keywords.
working on your content, you've done good keyword research, and there are access points to the stuff you're going after. You should see some movement, the little graph going up in Ahrefs
Mm,
or, in analytics. I would say, within 4 months,
yeah.
and I'm not talking about getting on the front page.
Yeah, yeah, not front
Three
page.
to 4 months, I'm just saying, you're going to start realizing that there's some movement there. And that's, the beginning stages of what will inevitably become your success
Yeah, so that's
story
what we're
in
in
SEO.
the beginning. We'll call this like the beginning stages of link building. Month one is like the super beginning where you're really heavy on the pillow style links. But in the first like 4 months or so, it could even be 6 months. It just depends on how much you're building and how much content you're adding. You're basically just looking for the site to, you're looking for the traffic and keywords graphs and Ahrefs to just start to be slowly accumulating, right? And just gathering more and more keywords. All your pages are starting to rank for something. Maybe it's somewhere in the top 100, but they're there, and Google's
It's
understanding what your site is about, and they're saying this
it's
could actually be legitimate. They're there. They're not in our top choices of sites, obviously, but we understand the site, and basically Google.
Yeah, it's the airplane mentality, or like an airplane analogy, right? Like on takeoff, you need wind and speed to kind of like, give that flight buoyancy. And once you find that, then you get a little more aggressive with the angle at which you're moving, right? And so like you're looking for the same thing in your graph on Ahrefs. You're looking for just movement upward, but it's going to be very gradual. And then depending on what you learn along the way and what kind of backlinking you do and what kind of keyword research you've done, when you start getting a little bit more aggressive with your link building, you might get a, slightly more gradual takeoff, or you might even just bump straight up
So,
in certain
so yeah, in the
cases.
beginning stages, you're doing a lot of homepage work, and you're looking for the graph just to be, if I'm pointing the right way. I guess I should point this way. Here we go. Yeah, you're looking for the graph to just be increasing, steadily. You're accumulating. You don't want this bump, and you're not looking for this like super rocky stuff where it's never really taking off. It's not really looking like healthy. It's just kind of all over the place. You want to start just seeing this slow, steady growth, right? It's a very like healthy link graph that looks just like this, or it might have some like kinks in it or whatever, but you're really adding this mass of keywords and traffic rather than something that's a plane. Like when a plane takes off, you don't want to see it going, whoa, wait,
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want anything wonky going off. You're looking
Yeah,
for
nice steady
good
takeoff,
amounts of
right?
trust. You're like, I'm gonna make sure I feel this properly before I start, doing something that can put me in danger.
Yeah, so before you start doing any cool tricks, right? You want the
Yeah,
nice
no,
steady takeoff. You want to get to a good altitude, right? And it's hard to
yeah.
tell you what that number is because it's really going to depend on how much content you have put out as well as the search traffic for your keywords. So this number
Mhm.
could look different for every single website. What you want to just see is the steady growth for a few months, right? You just want to see nice and steady growth. And what that steady growth is showing you after you give it some time and you're not crashing or anything, is that Google, you're establishing trust and Google understands what your website is about. And at that point, you can slowly start adding your links to inner pages, right? Maybe don't go super heavy on exact match anchors quite yet, but whereas before you were going 100% to your homepage, maybe now you're going, maybe like 20% of your links that you're building each month, maybe you're doing 20% to inner pages. Maybe every now and then you do have an exact match anchor, but you can still do stuff like branded anchors to inner pages or like a partial kind of keyword or kind of like a long tail type keyword type thing. You don't have to hammer exact matches right away. You can if you want to be aggressive, but best practice would be to be a little bit more conservative with that. Yeah, maybe you're just allocating 20% of your links are going to inner pages, and then maybe at this point you might see your growth kind of really take off because you're actually targeting certain pages and terms and whatnot. Um, yeah, you never want to stop building to your homepage. You're just going to have this slow, gradual shift where you start shifting more and more to your inner pages. And it might end up being something like, after even a few more months of that, maybe you're even doing like 50% of your links to your homepage and 50% to inner pages. Um, but yeah, again, there's no real like there's no set number, right? We might have some months where we do 100% of the links to inner pages, but the next month you can pretty much be sure that we're going to come back and we're going to be adding some homepage links, right? We generally
I
don't have
I
a
typically
month, yeah,
don't unless
but we
somebody's
but we
asked me to
can,
do
but we
it.
can. We generally do
But
not
right,
stop adding
we're
homepage
talking
links
about
ever.
like new site like
Yeah,
for
yeah,
this
yeah.
tutorial.
No,
It's like,
no. No, I'm saying once
just
you have
yeah,
like a few months, even more, like basically they've shifted to adding some links to inner pages, and then I'm saying even a few months after that, you might have
yeah.
some heavy inner page link months, but best practice would be to never stop the homepage links month, never go 100% on inner page links for the month. Continually be adding homepage links with some natural anchors, and yeah, I feel like that's about as good as a profile, or I don't know what you call it, a structure for
Blueprint,
blueprint that we can
roadmap.
do
Yeah.
for this type of thing. Um,
Yeah, I
we,
mean, if you've heard me or Chris talk, we get a lot more aggressive than what we just outlined typically, but that's not where we started. And if you've got a newer site, you are going to want to see this gradual takeoff. You're going to want to see, you're going to want to be able to monitor the variables that you're messing with more closely so that you understand what you're doing later on. Because if you kind of early on, jumble this all together, and you maybe do get some success. When things do decline, and they will, there's always ups and downs. There's never just a parabolic move up. There's always going to be up, gradual setback, etc. Maybe algo updates, etc. And the more knowledge you have on, what helped you get to a certain point, the more knowledge you're going to have to help kind of, pull apart what's happening at any given time as well, and what tools to use at any given time as
So just to
well.
kind of go over some more like the link types that we talked about. So, like in the beginning, diversity links, pillow links, social signals, social profiles, citations. These right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, are all like these very natural types of links, right? We like doing them heavy in the beginning, and you can still sprinkle them in throughout the rest of the link building journey, especially if you just kind of feel like you haven't done any kind of diversification in a while. But yeah, heavy in the beginning with this type of stuff, and then just using them sporadically throughout the process to just kind of keep everything lubed up. And then I knew that was gonna get a smile out of you. Hey, we're
I
talking
like it.
about cars here, all right, Nick? Get your mind out of the gutter. And
I
then,
know, I love
but
cars.
the bread and but your bread and butter are gonna be these two right here, guest post and niche edits. We don't necessarily prefer over the other. Niche edits are cheaper. Um, Guest posts are more expensive, but you can get a little bit more control over like your relevance and just stuff like that. They're both just incredible tools, and they're the most popular links that people use for SEO for a reason, right? Um, and then PBN links, as far as like when to use them and stuff, I would really wait till your site has been doing well for a while and use these sporadically. We use the cherry on top analogy, rather, so just use them as kind of like something to give a page an extra little pop or an extra boost, rather than really building your backlink profile to revolve around these types of links.
Hmm.
But yeah, definitely wait till later in the link building
I
journey to
feel
get into
like
PBN.
people underutilize PBNs
For
nowadays,
sure.
versus when I first started. It was like
Yeah,
that was all the rage.
they've kind of fallen out of favor, and I think it's
Yeah, I still love
oh
them.
yeah, I think they've unfairly fallen out of favor, right? I think they're still maybe the single most powerful
Yeah,
linking tool in SEO. It's just
yeah.
that they're just
I mean,
misunderstood.
I use them to pillow a whole lot. I don't really use them too often for exact match money anchors, if I'm being honest. I use them to build more
To the
authority to a
homepage.
website. Yeah.
Yeah, you can use that. That's another thing. When you see a lot of people using PBN, they're like, "All right, it's time to rank this page for this
Yeah.
term." So they're like, "Bam,
Yeah.
10 PBN links with exact
Yeah.
match anchors."
Nailed
Like,
it.
okay. Uh,
Sir, why haven't I been number one yet? It's been 2 weeks.
that's a good point, though. A lot of people when they think PBN, they think it's time to get aggressive. But yeah, you can definitely use them like to your homepage with natural anchors as well, right? It's just like getting a link from the homepage of an authoritative site to your homepage, which is can be a very good thing, right? Um, but yeah, I think they're as far as the blueprint goes, definitely just save this till later on. I wouldn't get started with these. Nick says he likes to use them early on, and you can. You could even throw in a PBN. I would wait till at least like month like 2 or 3,
Yeah, if you're
maybe, and
gonna
just to the
be like
homepage.
that,
But
just homepage naked or branded,
yeah,
and one or two maybe. But again, there's really, if you're a very new person to SEO, there's no reason to be rushing any of this stuff. Um, Move slowly and really understand what you're doing with each of these products. If you start pillowing and then you use, on the first month, a handful of guest posts, a handful of niche edits, some pillowing, and then you throw in a couple PBNs. Well, I know I would understand what I'm doing with that, but as a new SEO, starting out, let's say 6 years ago, had I done that, would I be understanding, what each one is doing? No. And in the end, you're going to get a rank graph that like shoots up, then it goes all sorts of sideways, and before you know it, your hair's falling out, and you think you're, going to have to give up on SEO to go work at a bar again.
that was
And
oddly specific,
I've been
Nick.
there a lot. I've been there a lot of
I don't
times.
know if you guys know this about Nick, but he was a bartender in a past life.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. my whole 20s.
Yeah.
That's what I did. It was a
So
lot of
I
fun.
when Nick says that little analogy or that Nick just shared with you, that is some like real life
Real
experience that he's
life.
been through, thinking about he's gonna give up
Listen,
on SEO and go work in the
I've said
cars.
it a million times on this show. Nothing has tested me. Done all sorts of random stuff to test myself. Nothing has tested me like starting my own business in this industry.
All right, wait one sec.
Hardest
Before we
thing.
get on this, I just want
Um,
to finish up the blueprint real quick.
yeah.
So, I think we've pretty much covered it for there. I just want to add one more thing. Over on our other services, you don't have to get these from us. So we got domains right here, expired domains, age domains, Pbn domains, whatever. It's just domains, right? One way to shortcut all of this, and yeah, one way to shortcut all of this, especially like the beginning stages, is to use a domain that has been used previously and already has established trust as well as accumulated a nice backlink profile for itself, right? And so what a lot of people do is they'll start a new project on an expired domain or an age domain. Expired domains are cheaper; they just take a little bit more time to get going. Age domains, of course, they're ready to go or whatever. But yeah, just something to keep in mind if you want to kind of cut down on kind of like the beginning stages of link building. Uh, yeah, you can definitely start on one of these. Just know that sometimes they can be a little bit hit or miss at times. You just want to get them to be kind of as closely related to your niche as possible, like whatever they were used with before. And of course, you want quality backlink profiles, stuff like that. But yeah, definitely check out our list if you're in the market for this kind of stuff. We've handpicked a bunch of domains and tons of different niches. I think we're about to add more as well.
Yeah,
And we
next
are,
couple weeks
yeah,
we'll
and we
probably
already,
have another 300 or so thrown in there.
yeah, and that's on top of a big update we already had recently. So definitely check that out. But yeah, you don't have to get them from us. There's other vendors as well. And if you know how to hunt them, but if you're asking this question, you probably don't know how to hunt them, but it's possible to hunt them on your own.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a whole other paradigm of
it definitely takes a lot of.
SEO.
It's
We
probably one of the
really, I
harder
mean,
things to do in
yeah,
SEO, to find good
it's
domains,
like its
but
own business too.
for sure. And it's
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 time
it's it's the same way
consuming
with
for
all of
sure.
these links as well, right? We're so links a lot. We're a link building agency. We sell pretty much all the backlink types that we use. There's a couple things we don't sell, for example, like press releases, which we should probably sell. Um,
Yeah,
Something
we've
we
been
need to
talking
talk
about
about
that
is press release.
for at least
Something you
like
could do at
two
the
years
beginning
too.
is add a press release, or you can even do it throughout, but don't use them too much. But they can be cool. But yeah, I
Well,
mean,
yeah,
we
maybe like a press release once every 6 months tops, depending on your website and what you're doing. But yeah, I use them in less than that.
But yeah, we do sell all this stuff, and we're proud of the products that we sell. We built this company, and we actually use our own company for our own projects too. So we obviously stand by our products enough to use them on our own site. So, but that's not to say you can't get them anywhere else. These are all, diversity links, pill links, social signals, social profiles, citations. These are things you can get in a lot of different places. You can even build most of them yourself. It just takes time and
Mm.
know-how, basically. And then, of course, gets posted in each edit. It's definitely a little bit harder to get. It will involve some kind of outreach. You're gonna actually have to do outreach to sites and get them to agree to, link to you more or less. And PBN, of course, you're gonna have to buy domains and do them yourself. But these are all stuff you could even do yourself. This is just a blueprint. Yeah, the question was basically how to use our services to start a site from ground up. But it doesn't have to be us. You could do it yourself. You could do some of it from us and some of it yourself. You could check out other vendors. It's just yeah, these types of links are not unique to us. I'm just saying um, these are just the types of links that are out there, right? That we use to rank websites, and so do pretty much everybody else. Um, Anything else to add to the blueprint, Nick?
Uh, no, I think it's probably an earful, but I think if you're newer, stick to the airplane analogy. Take off nice and slow and easy, and
Yeah, let that
monitor
let
what's
that
going
plane
on.
let that plane have a nice steady takeoff
Yeah,
before you start doing any cool stuff, right?
don't
Just
scare the passengers and yourself in the process.
stay steady for a while before you get more aggressive. That's the moral of the story. All
Also,
right.
I guess let's touch one thing.
Hmm.
There is no perfect way to build a site or links to it. It is always going to be a continual project where you're, I mean, like the blueprint usually stays the same once you find a recipe that works for you, but you're still always going to be in there monitoring, prodding, and switching things up. It's the name of the game. We've talked about it a lot. Being an SEO is a lot like being a lawyer or a doctor or someone that has to stay on top of current trends, et cetera. You can't just kind of learn something and then, it's easy breezy from there on. You're always going to be actively pursuing what you want with your campaign.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to check the description below for links to our blog for more info on this topic, along with a bunch of other cool stuff like case studies, our Facebook community, and our link building services. And like always, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell if you enjoyed the video. Thanks and happy ranking.